I had some spare time after I got everything done at the shop today, so with that spare time, I decided that I was going to shoot the Air Marshal qualification on a gun with no sights. If you've taken a class with me, you're pretty familiar with this gun. It's just a Gen 5 Glock 17 with no sights. I use this to demonstrate the importance of having a good index built, good proprioception, good eye-hand coordination. This is in no way me advocating for the use of point shooting or not using sights, because inevitably at some gun store, there is the gun store oracle that says dumb shit like 3 yards, 3 rounds in 3 seconds. And while I'm not sure the origin of that quote, specifically who to attribute it to, I can tell you that that person is probably an idiot, because bottom line, they're using a declarative statement for an unsure metric for something in the future. You're gonna have this much time and this many rounds and this, much of a distance between you and the bad guy. That person's probably stupid. You shouldn't listen to them. And it's been my experience with all the people I've taught, all the classes I've taken as a student, and just all the shooting that I've done in general, that the people who say stuff like that are also the people that say combat accuracy, and it's usually just an excuse for them to remain being a bad shooter. Anyway, now that I'm off my soapbox, I wanted to do the Air Marshal qualification because everybody tells me that that's the hardest qualification, that if you can complete the Air Marshal qualification, you're in the top 1% of 1% of shooters or something like that. For me, I don't really care about qualifications. They are a compromised standard for court defensibility, if that makes sense. It's not the absolute measure of a person and their ability to shoot. Sometimes it is, which is really sad. There are genuinely people out there that struggle to pass basic qualifications. To them, I say get better. But aside from that, it's just a compromised standard for court defensibility. You can meet this standard so that if you were in an officer-involved shooting, or one of the states like Ohio that requires you to take a test before you get your concealed carry permit, you met these bottom-of-the-barrel standards before you started carrying a gun in public, and so on and so forth. I do not have 3 targets like I'm supposed to, mainly just because of how narrow my range is here. I decided instead of transitioning from one target to the other to the next, I'm just gonna go bam, bam, and then back. Whatever, it's still 3 targets, right? I know I'm also not using the FBIQ target on here, which has an 11.25 inch wide by 26.75 inch tall bottle on there. And for that qualification, you just have to get the rounds in the bottle, I believe. What I am using is the IDPA targets, which have a 9-inch circle, which is going to be my main target. But the down zero zone is 17.5 by 12 inches on that. So I think we can all agree that a smaller target is probably a harder target to hit, right? So first up, we have 1 round from concealment, 2 repetitions. Total seconds for all shots can't exceed 3.3 seconds. So here we go. So that was 1.33 and 1.48 seconds respectively, not a tall hill to climb. Next is going to be double tap from the low ready. 2 repetitions, total seconds for all shots cannot exceed 2.7 seconds. Here's your double tap. So that was 1.06 and 1.0 seconds respectively. Or I just could have said 1 second, whatever. Next, 6 rounds at a single target from the low ready in 3 seconds, or as I like to call it, the shitty bill drill. So that was 1.79 seconds. Anyway. Next, we're gonna have 1 shot reload, 1 shot, total of 2 repetitions. Total time cannot exceed 6.5 seconds. Here we go. So that was 2.96 seconds and 2.88 seconds respectively. Not bad. Next, we have 1 round at 2 targets 3 yards apart from the low ready in 3.3 seconds. My targets aren't 3 yards apart. I don't know what to tell you. So that was 1.11 and 1.22 seconds. Not bad. Up next, we have the 180-degree pivot, 1 shot at 3 targets, left, center, and right. I don't have that, so like I said previously, I'm just gonna go left, right, left. Same thing, still engaging 3 targets, and So 2.58 and 2.38 seconds, I think we can all agree that a third target to the right of that target probably is not going to make a difference in the performance here. And finally, we have 1 round, slide locks back, drop to 1 knee, reload, 1 additional shot. So here we go for that. We have 8 seconds total to do these 2 repetitions. So that was 3 seconds flat and 3.67 total. So there you go. That was the Air Marshal qualification with no sights using the Glock 17. Not that tall of a hill to climb. Like I said before, if you think your qualification is sort of a metric for how good you are as a shooter, it's actually not. Being able to pass a qualification is like graduating from Velcro to being able to tie your shoes. It's just now you have a slightly better understanding of how shoes fit and how they work, right? I have yet to meet somebody whenever they have a basic understanding of shooting fundamentals, particularly with a handgun, that wasn't able to pass a qualification. In fact, my thoughts are, if you're able to pass a qualification, you're probably also able to fog a mirror by holding it up to your mouth. It's just like sort of that basic operating level that you should be at. Anyway, this gun is always floating around the shop. If you wanted to come in and try it, I would prefer you be one of my regular shooters so that I know you're not going to shoot my ceiling or wall or whatever. Again, not advocating for point shooting because point shooting is stupid. This is just going to help you confirm that index that you've built up, whether it is with iron sights or a red dot. When you take all your sighting systems away, you get a really good measure of how well you've built up that index. Anyway, come shoot with me. I promise I'm not this much of an asshole in person. It's just my, I don't know, internet tough guy shit. We do free training here for police officers on Sundays because I want you guys to be as good as you could possibly be so you can go home to your family at night. And if you guys have any questions, just shoot me an email, red.range@gmail.com, or just reach out to me here.